Hello and welcome back to my channel. Dinar and Dong Updates. Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong. April 2025. Intel and Developments. In the world of currency speculation, few topics have drawn as much attention and long-standing interest as the potential revaluation of the Iraqi Dinar, IQD, and Vietnamese Dong, VND. As of mid-April 2025, a wave of updates and commentary from well-known intel providers and financial gurus is providing renewed hope for those following the global currency reset narrative. Multiple sources, including news analysts and insiders, are reporting positive signals related to Iraq's economic reforms, digital infrastructure enhancements, geopolitical shifts, and bond redemption activity. Encouraging progress in historic bond markets. One of the more optimistic voices this week comes from Guru Mars, featured via PDK, who shared updates regarding the status of historic bond transactions. According to Mars, there has been significant progress behind the scenes, with several trusted sources indicating that everything is still moving in the right direction. The expectation is that the completion of these bond deals may be finalized this week. This development is crucial because once bond redemptions are confirmed and completed, the next logical step in the sequence involves the release of long-awaited payments to various groups, including CMKX shareholders, farm claims, and prosperity package recipients. These groups are widely believed to be next in line for disbursements, with the general public, those holding Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong, possibly following shortly afterward. Mars emphasized that the confirmations he's receiving from bond contacts suggest strong momentum and real, tangible movement in the process. If this week indeed marks a turning point for bondholders, it may very well signal the beginning of the next financial phase many have been anticipating for years. The strategic position of the U.S. Treasury and Dinar holdings. Intel analyst Frank 26 added a compelling dimension to the conversation by highlighting the U.S. government's significant holdings of Iraqi Dinar. During one of his recent updates, he posed a provocative question. Do you realize how many dinars are sitting in the U.S. Treasury? According to Frank 26, the U.S. government has been strategically accumulating dinars, holding them as a long-term investment. He suggested that the U.S. administration, possibly including top-level officials and financial advisors, are keenly watching for the dinar's potential to gain value. Frank implied that these holdings are part of a broader strategic play, one that could benefit the U.S. economy significantly if and when the revaluation occurs. He suggested that this plan aligns with other signs pointing to a well-orchestrated timeline and financial roadmap. In his view, the current administration is being patient and deliberate, waiting for the right moment to activate certain changes, possibly including a currency revaluation or shift in monetary policy related to Iraq. Iraq's changing diplomatic landscape. According to another well-known commentator, Sandy Ingram, Iraq is currently navigating a new political environment, shaped in part by shifts in U.S. foreign policy. Under the current administration, Washington's approach to Iraq has become more assertive, with new demands and expectations reportedly being placed on Baghdad. Ingram noted that Iraq remains cautious, attempting to maintain a balanced diplomatic position without alienating its powerful allies. One of the key economic levers at play is Iraq's holdings of U.S. dollars, reportedly over $100 million, stored in accounts within the U.S. Federal Reserve. These funds, however, are under a cloud of lingering sanctions stemming from the 2003 Iraq War. This monetary relationship reflects a broader geopolitical dynamic, where Iraq must carefully maneuver between national interests and international expectations. Ingram emphasized that Iraq's financial decision-making remains closely tied to its relationships with the U.S., Iran, and other regional powers. Potential breakthrough from U.S.-Iran diplomacy news analyst Claire pointed to a significant development in the region that may have long-term positive implications for Iraq's economy. A recent article titled "Iraq Awaits Economic Breakthrough Following U.S.-Iran Agreement" suggests that ongoing negotiations between the United States and Iran could unlock a new era of economic cooperation and stability in the Middle East. According to Iraqi economist Nasser Alami, this prospective agreement could substantially benefit Iraq, acting as a bridge between two major regional powers. As diplomatic relations improve, Iraq could see increased foreign investment, expanded trade, and enhanced stability, all of which would strengthen the case for economic reform and potential currency revaluation. Claire echoed this sentiment, suggesting that if diplomatic progress continues, it may create the ideal conditions for Iraq to implement major financial policy changes, including adjustments to its exchange rate. Ongoing modernization of Iraq's financial infrastructure. In a related area of focus, another news and intel source shed light on Iraq's ongoing efforts to modernize its financial and banking systems. According to a recent report, the Iraqi government has significantly expanded its digital payment infrastructure, including launching national awareness campaigns and implementing new security protocols to encourage the use of electronic transactions. Although this represents a meaningful step toward modernization, the source cautioned that Iraq's banking sector still has a long way to go. Over half of the targeted reforms in this area are tied to financial technology and digital services, many of which are still in progress or underdeveloped. Nonetheless, the broader trajectory appears positive. As Iraq continues upgrading its financial systems, it becomes increasingly prepared to handle the complexities of a modern economy, including managing new exchange rates, foreign investments, and international trade settlements. Developments in Iraq's national budget and currency plans. Intel provider Mark Z, also known simply as Mark, provided further insight into Iraq's budgetary process, referencing an article entitled "Budget Tables on the Way to the Dome of Parliament." According to the piece, Iraq's updated budget tables were expected to be delivered to Parliament as early as April 15th, following their approval by the Council of Ministers. However, there appears to be confusion over the delay in submitting the 2025 budget. Originally scheduled for release at the end of the previous month, the budget was postponed, surprising many within the government and public. Mark believes that the delay could be tied to exchange rate adjustments. He cited reports suggesting that Iraq might be considering a revaluation of its currency in response to fluctuations in global oil prices. According to him, this theory is not just speculation, but is echoed by contacts within Iraq, who also suspect that the government is waiting for a finalized exchange rate before submitting the budget to Parliament. Security and stability as key conditions for RV Frank 26 returned to address another vital issue: national security. In his view, Iraq must meet specific benchmarks for peace and stability before a currency revaluation can proceed. He asked listeners, "Does Iraq have the necessary level of stability for the RV to happen?" His answer was cautiously optimistic. He stated that Iraq is, by most appearances, relatively peaceful and secure, at least when viewed internally. However, he pointed to Iran as a potential source of continued instability. Frank suggested that once Iran's influence is more effectively contained, Iraq would be in a much stronger position to move forward with the release of a new exchange rate. He emphasized that Iraq's central bank leadership, particularly decision-makers located on the 9th floor of the CBI building, are well prepared and strategic in their approach. He even hinted that the rate could be revealed at any moment, underscoring his belief that Iraq is on the verge of major change. Broader economic perspective from Pimpy. Adding a wider economic lens, analyst Pimpy commented on Iraq's economic trajectory. While acknowledging the hopeful chatter surrounding a potential revaluation, Pimpy took a grounded approach, stating that Iraq's economy is indeed growing stronger. He highlighted Iraq's increasing participation in international organizations like the World Trade Organization, which signals growing legitimacy and integration into the global financial system. Pimpy also cited major infrastructure projects, including the massive highway project and the port of Al-Faw, as key indicators of Iraq's long-term economic potential. These developments are expected to enhance Iraq's trade capacity, increase job creation, and attract foreign investment. While he stopped short of making any specific predictions regarding currency revaluation, Pimpy expressed confidence in Iraq's economic foundation, suggesting that such strength could serve as a catalyst for broader financial changes in the future. Contrasting views from Fnul Nu on IMF reporting. While optimism was widespread among many analysts, not all shared the same perspective. Intel provider Fnul Nu offered a fact-based rebuttal to claims made by Frank 26 regarding the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Specifically, Frank had suggested that the IMF might be involved in planning or approving a currency revaluation for Iraq. Fnul Nu stated that after personally reviewing 84 IMF reports, he found no mention of revaluation in any official documentation. In fact, the term revaluation was completely absent from both current and recent reports.